So today we're going to do EMF solutions for the house, and I made a little PDF that we're going to go through so that we can heal the house, turn off settings off your phone, and keep the house healthy because this is really important. So let's go into the first one. If you have a phone, what you're going to do is you're going to go into settings and you're going to go to cellular data and you're going to turn off the 5G. 5G is the culprit for the entire pandemic of 2020. And this was a new technology which was rolled out that poisoned the people, resulting in radio wave sickness. So, what you're going to do is you're going to set your phone to 4G or LTE. And this is just going to be a game changer for you so that you do not be harmed by your phone. Now, the best is always airplane mode, which we will talk about shortly, but we'll just kind of keep going with this. Now, people will ask, what do you mean it's the root cause of the pandemic? Well, right here. Before the pandemic, you see how much 5G, which is the purple, and then after the pandemic. And this is during 2019, Trump passed a bill to spend, I think it was about $250 billion or something to upgrade the system to roll out cell phone towers all over the place. And if we look over here on the right-hand side, this was a street in Scottsdale, Arizona. On top of this lamp, there was no cell phone tower. Now, when you drive down the street, you see cell phone towers all over the place. And this is really important. There are no viruses jumping. There are no spike proteins jumping. There's no snake venom in the water. There's no parasites or germs jumping. It's just technology. And this is before and after. It's the same technology which was rolled out into people's pockets as well too, which then they started getting really, really sick. Now here you can go to see this, ensuring America reaches its 5G potential, May 30th, 2019. America's telecommunication companies plan to invest $275 billion to deploy 5G networks, creating $3 million in new jobs. All of those jobs are now gone, adding $500 billion to the economy. So you can kind of see what that whole thing was. Now, this is an important website for people to look into. It's called antennasearch.com. You can search up your house. So what I did was I put an address in right here. We see that there's 67 towers and 383 antennas within a 3-mile radius. Now, what most people don't know is Phoenix actually used to be very low until this whole pandemic, and then now these numbers have doubled, tripled, and quadrupled. And what's more crazy is people can be living next to a cell phone tower, for example, right here in a hiking area, and not even know that the tower is 1.3 miles away and causing them sickness. So this is a very important website. Even when I was looking at where I wanted to live, I wanted to make sure that these numbers are very, very low. And why do I say that? Because the 1996 Telecommunication Act by Bill Clinton made it so that the government, so the local government, cannot deny on the basis of environmental effects of radio frequency emissions. So what does that mean? Basically, if there are health effects from these towers, they can't deny putting them up. And that should kind of worry you. And this is the whole thing with Bill Clinton's thing, 1996, basically protecting all the cell phone towers from lawsuits. So even if they put a cell phone tower in front of your home and you come down with brain cancer or a tumor, there's no rules that say they can't do that, and you cannot sue for damages. So this is the thing. Like I said, they distract the people with the whole thing with the spike proteins and snake venoms and all this nonsense. Meanwhile, cell phone towers are rolling out all over. Now, back to the phone settings, because there's a lot of phone settings we want to turn off. So first we turned off 5G and we went to 4G. That is number one. Next, if you have Apple AI, you need to turn that off, or Siri. And the reason I say that is because this Apple Intelligence is stealing all the information from your phone. It steals your pictures, your text messages, your phone calls, every single thing. This is where they're getting all the information for ChatGPT. When people are like, where does all this stuff get information? From people's phones. That's what's feeding this whole entire thing. And what you want to also turn off is learn from this app. You will have to go app by app underneath your phones and turn off learn from this app. Because if you notice, what it does is it allows Siri to learn from your contacts, from your photos, from your text messages, all of these different things. So this is a really important one. All of these new phones have this technology. If you have a computer, same exact thing. You have to turn all of the stuff off. Now, if you cannot turn any of these things off, just so you're aware, what you need to do is you need to reset your phone back to factory settings, because that's the one way to counter all of this. Anytime you upgrade, a lot of these features that we are talking about cannot be turned off. So think about that. That's pretty mind-blowing. Next, we move into Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and the Health app. Now, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi operate as a microwave spectrum, so they cook you the entire time that they are on. So you want to make sure that they are always off. In the settings feature, anytime you switch your phone to airplane mode, you want to make sure that the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth is off. And then this is a really big one right here. Okay, this is the Health app that is installed on all the phones. And what it says is motion and fitness. Motion and fitness uses your body movement to determine your step count and fitness levels. So not only does it do that, but it also tracks your blood pressure, your vitals, and every single thing that you're doing. Yeah, it should be illegal when you kind of think about it. So you want to turn all this garbage off. So now we're moving into the house. We want to hardwire the house. Now, right now, as I'm sitting here right now, I am hardwired. I have an Ethernet cord and a USB adapter plugged into this computer, and everything is wired. I do not use any wireless. I do not use anything that's wireless in my house. It's all 0.0 in my home. So what you're going to do is you have the internet to the modem to the router, and then you run Ethernet cords to the rest of the devices, which we will go over next for you guys. So what you're going to do is you're going to find your router and your modem, and you're going to type in, most likely, 192.168.1.1 or 192.168.0.1. And what this is going to do is this is going to allow you to go into your router, and you're going to turn off all of the wireless settings so that this garbage is no longer on in your house. So all of these 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz, Smart Connect, all these goofy settings, turn all this off. Now, the new routers that are rolling out have 6G and 7G and whatever else. If you can't think straight, it's the Wi-Fi. Now, you'll turn all that off, and then also you want to turn off the guest network. This is a big one. The guest network is this little hidden one that they don't tell people about. So this is a little one that's in the back that most people don't know. So you want to turn this off too, because while you're turning these ones off, there's always this guest network that's in the background. So if you have guests over, they can connect to the Wi-Fi. It's the goofiest thing ever. And this, like I said, this technology is absolutely nonsense. So after you turn all that off, you're now going to have no Wi-Fi in your house, which is amazing. And you're going to sleep like a baby, and you're not going to be harmed anymore. Now, what you're going to also want to do is you're going to want to get an Ethernet cord. Okay, so that's how I'm hooked up right now. So you see this Ethernet cord right here? This goes into the back of the router, and then it now connects into any device I want. So if I want to hook up my phone, if I want to hook up my computer, if I want to hook up anything, I just take the Ethernet cord that's plugged into the back of the router and I plug it into the device. Nice and simple. I don't even have to worry about if I can't plug it into something. I can plug it into any device I want. If a person has a television and you want to plug it in, plug it in. But that's how you will have the internet moving through the Ethernet cords, because this is the safest way. Most people don't know right now in Scottsdale, Arizona, they are going around and cutting the Ethernet cords from people's houses to force them onto Wi-Fi. So you got to kind of think about that. That's the next thing. This is why they want everybody with Wi-Fi and this technology, because not only does it harm you, but it also can watch you, it can monitor you, it gets real weird. Now let's talk about some of the side effects of radio wave sickness or wireless technology. Either one. Now, when the pandemic happened, people were suffering from fever, chills, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, fatigue, headaches, loss of smell, sore throats, nausea, vomiting, dizziness, pain in the chest, stomach issues, muscle pain, hypertension, strokes, and heart issues and seizures. Now, those are the same exact symptoms as radio wave sickness. So I want people to see that these two are exactly the same. And that's what people were suffering from. In 1919, during the Kansas flu, they were suffering from the exact same thing. When they rolled out the radio, people got sick. And then what happened is they told them that they needed to take a vaccine, which makes no sense. So same exact thing. 2020, people upgraded their phones. They got all this new technology. They got new cell phone towers in front of their house. Same exact poisoning. Every time they upgrade these systems, people get sick. That's it. It's very, very simple. So this is why we don't want wireless garbage in our house. Next, we move to the Navy Medical Research Institute. This is a really important one. This is during the 1970s. The US Navy did 2,000 studies on the dangers of cell phones and non-ionizing radiation, wireless technology. And we notice over here, we have the same exact side effects that I just quoted. Depression, impotence, anxiety, lack of concentration, dizziness, hallucinations, sleepiness, insomnia, appetite issues, neurotic issues, chest pain, tremors, and the list goes on and on. So they've known about this for a long time. You just get this technology sold to you because, once again, it comes with convenience and it comes with a whole bunch of health issues, and they can track you and they can poison you at the same time. Now, what most people don't know is the safety test for these devices. This is mind-blowing. This is the safety test. This is a plastic dummy with a phone next to it, and they say that the phone, when it was turned on, did not cause any damages to the plastic dummy. This is how they think of people. They think of them as plastic dummies. So you obviously would get no results if you took a phone and put it up to a plastic dummy. So you can obviously say it would be safe. So this is really important. Any devices, any of the stuff that they try to give you, your kids, your family, any of that stuff, same exact thing. Plastic dummy with the cell phone tower. They said it didn't, or cell phone, it didn't harm the plastic dummy. So something to kind of think about. And then also, more on the Wi-Fi and how it's a microwave. This is just a great one. You can look up, can you cook meals with radio waves? And yes, you can. It's a microwave frequency, which the microwave uses 2.4 gigahertz to heat the food. And you look up what the frequency of Wi-Fi is, 2.4 gigahertz. So same exact thing, same exact technology. DARPA created the first microwave, and then you get into Wi-Fi and wireless technology, you find DARPA. It's the same thing every single time. So anybody who tells you differently, they just don't do their research. So then we move into other wireless things that could be potentially in your house. You have smart meters right here. So what you want to do is you want to switch your smart meter to an analog meter. You might have to pay a fee, but it's better than your whole house burning down. And look at this. Smart meter catches fire. Utility company denies homeowners damage claim. So if your house burns down from a smart meter, the insurance company will just say you're SOL. So that's kind of something to think about. These are all other fires on the other side over here. And this is the thing, this stuff gets wiped off the internet because they want people to have smart meters. They want to be able to track and trace all of their appliances and find out what they're doing. And if it causes fire in the meantime, the electric companies are not liable. Here's another one with smart meters. This was a bush next to a smart meter. And as you can see, the bush on the left-hand side next to the smart meter is completely cooked, while the right-hand side is all alive. So you can imagine what it's doing if it's in a bedroom, if it's next to your kid's bedroom, or if it's next to your grandma or your grandpa or a parent. If they have smart meters next to their house, cooking their body. Now, this was interesting. This was from another study. This was out of Harvard, which is wild to even think. But it shows how much RF is coming off the smart meters. And the RF off a smart meter is just absolutely nuts, basically. It's the amount of a cell phone tower, pretty much. So that thing is pinging the entire time. So this is important. So you got smart meters, you got cell phones, you got wireless, you got cordless phones, smart appliances, which we'll talk about, and just everything else. Then you move into smart meters versus cell phones. This is what I was talking about how they are pinging. So on average, a meter transmits a customer, it says, this is what they were saying, 4 to 6 times per day. That's what they're telling people when they sell them this technology. Meanwhile, PG&E out of California found out that these things were pulsing 14,000 to 190,000 times per day. So that's kind of big to kind of think about. That is a ping of EMF, of microwave frequencies, anywhere from 14,000 to 190,000 times per day. That's why people get sick. Smart meters, rising bills. This is another one for people to see. This was before the smart meter, and this is after. 50% increase on all your bills. So if you think about it, that fee that you pay is well worth the fee rather than paying double to triple on your electric bill, just because you switch to a smart meter. So that's important. Then we move to this wireless nonsense, Ring doorbells, Google Nest, all this. People are consenting to giving their data to television shows. This stuff is easy to hack. You can walk in front of a person's house and hack all their cameras if they're on wireless. It takes 2 seconds. It's a couple little things. Now, the other thing too is the facial recognition feature here. Once they upload a photo into this Ring or Google Nest, they can find anybody. Now, you might think, oh, well, that might help us find people. Well, yeah, that can help find criminals, which would be the citizens. So, every single thing of this, just get a dog or even just get a motion sensor or just buy a shotgun. Like that's pretty much all you need. So then next we move to new Apple research hints on how AirPods can read brain signals. Now, what's funny is this article says 2025. But the patent for the AirPods reading the brain was actually released in 2023. So every pair of AirPods is scanning brain signals and also microwaving the brain. Many, 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 many people are going to come down with brain tumors and brain cancer in the next 5 to 10 years. And it is because they have these AirPods lodged into their brain. You are microwaving both sides of your brain at the same time. And it's interesting because all of the doctors who've shown that people put cell phones up to their ear, they've shown that they get tumors or cancer in the same exact spot. So anything wireless technology to put into your ears is probably one of the not only silliest things you can do, but the most dangerous to put into your brain because you need it to think. Otherwise, Elon Musk will sell you a Neuralink, and that I don't really want to be a part of. Now, when we move into the next one, we get into LED bulbs. So we're just going through different things you can do for the house. Nice and simple. So this is switching from LEDs to incandescents. And if you notice, if you go to 1000bulbs.com, they have tons of light bulbs here. Okay, tons of light bulbs. You have light bulbs galore. You can replace all your light bulbs with the LEDs, which were meant to allegedly save energy, but they emit a lot of radio frequencies that cause dizziness, that cause headaches. You can switch all those and go back to the incandescents. Old school way of doing it. Now, this is where it gets freaky. Okay, so this is the smart Wi-Fi LED bulb. It has Wi-Fi, which is a microwave. It has Bluetooth, which is a microwave. It has voice control, so it's listening to you as a microphone. It can sync up to music. It can change colors. It can dim, which dim results in dirty electricity. So basically, you bring these bulbs into your house, and not only do they microwave your health, but it also says right there, compatible with Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant. So all of your apps sync up to your light bulbs, and they are watching you, and things get real weird, and microwaving you at the same time. So something to kind of think about. And this was a AMA study where in 2016 they linked LEDs to cataracts. So when people are wondering why their eyes are getting all messed up, LEDs. It's just all these lights. These lights definitely mess with your eyes. And you can look into like the Flux app, which is really cool, or you can do black and white with your phones and devices. But like I said, LEDs, very, very toxic to the eyes and lots of dirty electricity. So here's a little thing you can do to kind of go around the house and check things. This is a great device. These are two great devices. And this is the work from Dr. Milham. And this is a great thing to look into, the AM radio. Get yourself a little AM radio, go around your house, and you can find all the dirty electricity. So what you do is you tune it into the frequencies in between. So let's say it's 103 and 108. You put it right in between there. You walk around the house, and you can find all the dirty electricity. This is why a lot of the cars don't have AM radio anymore, because you would pick up on all of the signals from the dirty electricity, the cell towers, all of the AI data centers, all of that. So that was the work of Dr. Milham. Next, you can also get a Tri-Field 2 TF2 meter. This is the one on the right-hand side. This is a great one to go around your house and find EMF. You might have an alarm system. You might have some secret stuff in your walls. You might have all kinds of weird wireless things that you didn't even know were wireless, like your fridge or your appliance or things like that. You can find it with that. You can also find electricity, if there's dirty electricity, or if there's high magnetic fields. Those can all cause different types of health issues, which are usually the same: nausea, dizziness, sickness, basically. But these are two great things. And you can find these things on eBay, and you can find them just about anywhere. And this is the book I was referencing by Dr. Milham. His work is absolutely phenomenal about dirty electricity, root cause of leukemia. A lot of people ask, where does leukemia come from? Dirty electricity. It cooks the blood. Anytime you cook the blood, you result in leukemia. Now, what's interesting about the electricity in the US is we have 120 here, and that electricity goes into the ground. So it's what creates all the dirty electricity, all the excess electricity that goes into the ground and goes into the people. Now, in Europe, where it's healthier, they actually have 220, and the electricity goes back to the substation. So that's why when people go to Europe, they're like, man, I feel better. That's because the electricity in Europe is actually correctly done. Same with the limits for the radio frequencies. The limits for the radio frequencies from cell phone towers and cell phones is only 5 in the EU. It's 10,000 in America. So this is where there's this huge difference between the EU and America. And here they just, like I said, they just wild, wild west. They just let these limits go through the roof and then they just kind of see what happens. In the EU, they decided we don't want to do that and we're going to make sure everything's correct first. So that's the differences on that. And in the book, Dirty Electricity by Milham, he actually goes into this. And then these are two more great books. This is the book that kind of set me off on my journey. The book, The Invisible Rainbow by Arthur Fistenberg, blew my mind. It's 500 to 600 pages with 250 pages of studies on EMF, electricity, and all these things. You know, we got cancer, diabetes, heart disease, all these things going through the roof, even lung cancer when people aren't even smoking cigarettes anymore. Electricity and radio frequencies. So this book is mind-blowing. He also went into diabetes, how diabetes has gone through the roof, electricity and radio frequencies, you know, all these topics that a lot of these people just don't cover. You know, they tell you this and they tell you that. They just do not point at this specific topic because this is the most censored topic on the internet when it comes to being healthy, I've realized. That's why I had so many videos taken down. Another great video by Robert Kane is Cellular Telephone Russian Roulette. And this is a phenomenal one. This one came out in the 1970s, I believe. And it was a book that began to get burned because obviously it's Russian roulette to put a cell phone tower up into your face or even a cordless phone or a radio or any of these things because over time, you don't know what will happen. And then there's also a great documentary by Josh Del Sol. It's called Take Back Your Power. And this was one I watched, and I'll never forget watching this one, learning about the smart meters and watching people's blood clump up and why they can't breathe just from smart meters alone. So this is a very, very powerful one. And like I said, I want to try to give you as many direct things as we can possibly do. And then lastly, we got some tips here, just some things I've learned, you know, with EMF issues, because I could walk into a room and I could feel if someone's phone's on, I could feel if they had Wi-Fi on, Bluetooth, the whole entire thing. Because once you are impacted by cell towers and the rollout of 5G or 4G or 3G, you then become an antenna to everything. So this is really important. So here's some things I learned. You can do things to heal. Juicing, all organic juicing. You can do celeries, you can do beets, you can do ginger, phenomenal things. Those are just all organic. Swapping LED incandescent lights, we talked about that. Getting rid of Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and smart meters, talked about that. Ethernet cords instead of Wi-Fi. Barefoot grounding daily, which I'm going to go do right after this. Barefoot grounding, very important, connecting yourself into the earth because we are meant to be connected into the beautiful earth. But we do not want to ground around power lines because then we are now grounding in the dirty electricity. Spending more time in nature, one of the most important things you can ever do. Being locked up inside of a house, you are surrounded by electricity and radio frequencies, and you can imagine what that does to your health. This is why most people go for a vacation in the wintertime. Wearing linen and sleeping on linen, which this is another one. Any of the clothes that you're wearing, you want the most natural materials because if you are wearing plastics or polyesters, you are building up static on your body, and that static is coming from the radio frequencies and electricity. So then you result in more health issues. So linens we do have coming in the future on Cultivate Elevate, but most important, wearing linen. It is the most natural material to put on your body. It also emits tons of light, and we are beautiful light beings. Eating organic to reduce heavy metal toxicity. This is a big one. I have been doing an organic diet for the last 10 to 15 years, and I would never go into anything else. Our conventional food has been sprayed. It's doused with pesticides, and it's loaded with all types of heavy metals. Those work as an antenna against the body. So that's real important. And the last study on organic was done in 1995. It showed that organic foods yield 100 times more nutrients than conventional. So when you see influencers out there saying, oh, there's no difference between the organic and conventional, they're being paid. I hate to say it. Filtering your water to reduce toxins, that's a big one. Any types of heavy metals in your water. You can go to ewg.org and look up the water near you and see what's in it so you can know what to filter. Superfoods, always talked about it. Shilajit, dragon's blood, pearl, six mix. Six mix was actually created originally for radiation poisoning. That was the reason I put together that formula and put Mishima mushroom in there because of the radioactive protective benefits. And that's a real good one. People lost their sense of smell or sense of taste. Shilajit and six mix. Great combo right there. You can also add in dragon's blood to keep your blood clean. Next, you want to swap processed fats, such as canola, such as corn or soy or any of that garbage vegetable oils that they sell to people, for tallow, raw butter, raw cream, or coconut oil. Remember, fats protect you. They protect all your cells, so they're very important to put into your body. And bringing in all these synthetic fats or seed oil fats, it all turns to plastic in your body, and then that obviously messes you up with the towers. Also, lastly, raw milks, raw milk, raw meat, and raw honey. Raw foods. That's the moral of the story. The more raw, the better. Most of your foods, when you look into even certain things like certain nuts and things, they've been cooked, they've been pasteurized. So you want everything raw. Raw is the best way, and it always absorbs the most. But on that note, this is my little EMF solutions podcast situation, and I hope that you enjoyed this presentation. I tried to put every single thing in here so that you guys can go step by step and have solutions, and you can share this with somebody else so they can go step by step. But I wanted to be just short, sweet, and to the point to give you guys solutions. And if you like videos like this, I will be doing more, but I just wanted to put this out there, and I hope that you guys have a beautiful day, and I hope that this can help. Love you.